In the heartland of America, where the winds howl across Lake Michigan and steel giants reach defiantly into the sky, lies a city forged in fire, ambition, and blood, Chicago. Before the name ever echoed across the world, this land was a meeting place, a cradle of rivers and wild grasses. Long before the railways came, before the skyscrapers soared, the native peoples Potawatomi, Miami, and Illinois tribes lived in harmony with the windswept plains and quiet waters. They called it Chicago, the land of wild onions, a name that would echo through the centuries. And then, change arrived, slowly. Then all at once, the French came with their fur trade and muskets. Then the British, and finally, the Americans driven by dreams of empire and expansion. By 1833, a town of fewer than 200 souls was incorporated. But this was not just any town. It was a spark. The railroads would come, the canals would come, and where once there was swamp and silence, there would be movement, steel, and steam. Chicago did not grow, it exploded. Within just decades, it became the hub of the Midwest, the crossroad of America. Meat from the plains, grain from the Dakotas, lumber from the north all flowed into Chicago. And from Chicago, they flowed to the world. The Union stockyards became legend, a pulsing, bloody heart that beat beneath the city's surface. Workers from Ireland, Germany, Poland, Italy, and later from the South, black Americans fleeing the chains of Jim Crow came chasing something more. They came for freedom. They came for wages. They came to build a future. But the cost was high. The city burned in 1871. Not metaphorically. It truly burned. Flames raged for days, swallowing churches, homes, banks, and dreams. Ash and smoke choked the sky. Over 17,000 buildings were reduced to rubble. But out of the ashes, something astonishing happened. Chicago rebuilt not with fear, but with fury. It rose faster than ever, stronger, taller, bolder. Architects from all over the world came to design a new kind of city, a vertical city. The first skyscraper was born here, and as the skyline grew, so did the struggles below. The workers organized, they marched, they demanded. Blood stained the streets during the Haymarket Affair in 1886. One of the most pivotal moments in labor history. Anarchists were hanged. The city was shaken. But the movement could not be stopped. This was the voice of the new American underclass, rising from the smoky alleys and sweat-drenched factories. In the early 20th century, Chicago became a jazz city, a blues city, a city with soul. The Great Migration transformed its cultural DNA. Black voices from the South brought music, poetry, and fire with them. The South Side pulsed with life and art. Bronzeville thrived. But segregation. Lines were drawn deep. Redlining carved neighborhoods apart. Even as the music flowed, the struggle never stopped. The 1920s brought the glint of gangster gold and the shadow of the Tommy gun. Prohibition was law, but in Chicago, law was a suggestion. Al Capone ruled the underworld with a smile and a bullet. Corruption reached the highest halls of power. Chicago became the symbol of American vice, both feared and mythologized. Blood ran in the streets during the St. Valentine's Day massacre. But even as crime reigned, the city grew. The Great Depression hit hard. But again, Chicago endured. The World's Fair of 1933 gave the world a vision of tomorrow. During World War II, its factories roared with the sound of tanks, planes, and purpose. Men left to fight. Women took their place on the assembly lines. And again, the city adapted. But not all battles were fought abroad. In 1968, the Democratic National Convention became a battleground. Protesters against the Vietnam War flooded the streets. The police cracked down with brutal force. The world watched as a city of progress revealed its wounds deep. Political, racial, generational. Through the lens of black and white television, America saw the price of dissent. And still, Chicago kept pushing forward. The late 20th century brought transformation. A new skyline emerged. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls turned the United Center into a coliseum of greatness. Oprah Winfrey brought her voice to millions from this city's heart. But behind the glitz, the city wrestled with inequality, political corruption, and violence. And yet, the story doesn't end there. Today, Chicago is a city of contradictions. It is home to breathtaking art and unspeakable poverty, towering ambition and generational pain. But more than anything, it is a city of fighters, of survivors. From the ashes of fire, from the blood of labor battles, from the scars of segregation, it has built and rebuilt itself, time and again. Every brick here has a memory, every corner a battle, and every citizen a chapter in a story that refuses to end. Because Chicago is not just a city, it is a heartbeat, a lesson, a warning, a promise.